Good morning, all you good-looking people. Morning.
Morning.
Do me a favor, please. Smile. Thank you. I don't want you to wear yourself out. You can drop it now. So today's lecture has to do with awareness and the retrieval of awareness. In my experience, I have found that my whole life has been a process of finding me, self-discovery. I think that is one of the reasons why it is so designed we have forgetfulness before we come into a new incarnation. Because then that gives us a relatively clean slate to discover who we are. That we also come in with a set of opportunities that we call our life's plan, then gives us an energetic path that we are more inclined to walk upon. Along this path, of course, we begin to experience the different things that we have created or have been bestowed upon us by others as forms of habit, as forms of identification. All of the different things that our kind-hearted parents and friends and relatives have bestowed upon us so graciously. With all, for the most part, good intention. So as we go along, we of course encounter ourselves, but as for the most part, I think we're unconscious, and we have a tendency to occasionally project things onto others and then say, golly, look at you. You need some straightening out. Well, as beauty is in the eye of the beholder, so seems to be everything else. So, a nice thing that's happening of recent is that meditation and mindfulness are becoming more and more popular. And these are helpful tools. People are starting to see that there really is a profound power to be discovered. Whether it's from letting go to let it be, to being at ease, to surrender, to acceptance. First encounters with these, especially when you start getting to what you might call the heavier hitters, surrender and acceptance, triggers fear. And I would say that fear is the most common obstacle to retrieving awareness. Whether it's fear of change, fear of discomfort, fear of what other people might think or say about you, fear of messing up. Fear can really be crippling. But eventually, it seems that we actually want to discover the more of us than just being stuck in our fear-based sense of self. So sometimes what it requires is that we go a little farther into fear and find out, what's this all about? In the process, we come to a place of encounter. We encounter the demons in us. We may be so detached from ourselves and so separated from our sense of self that we actually think that the demons are being placed upon us, that they lie outside of us. And it's not to say that some of you aren't, but it's to say that the ones that are inside, you missed that, I'll repeat. It's the ones inside that are the ones that really can unravel the knots that have tied you to fear. So it comes to a place where instead of holding everything like this, which you begin to realize is a form of resistance that you're generating yourself. I mean, I've experienced it in myself that when I actually put into play letting go, letting it be, being at ease, surrendering, accepting, that there's a big shift that takes place inside of me. I no longer am offering up the resistance that seems to be outside of me and contained in the thing that I'm afraid of. So when I embrace my demons, they become my ally. How that happens is what I would call transformation. Because in essence, what you're doing when you embrace them as demons, you are embracing them with acceptance. Hence, the embrace of acceptance. And why it is so challenging to actually embrace with acceptance those things of which you are fearful. So, you get a little feel for that. But if you keep up with letting things be and letting them go, and you keep practicing being at ease, you begin to discover that meditation really is an opportunity that you can employ to retrieve your own awareness. Because what happens is you actually learn how to be present instead of flitting around because you're afraid to focus for any sufficient amount of time. Because in that time, it may be coming up on you. So you've always got to be like this. But if you practice, and you actually begin to experience what being at ease can provide for you, then you begin the process of learning to be present. You see, there's a misunderstanding about meditation, and that it's not about creating a singular experience, but it's really about changing your relationship to experience. You see, this that we're living right now called life is definitely a self-discovery. Because everything that's outside of us, we only experience because of our perception of it. It isn't it so much as our perception of it. So when we begin to change our relationship with ourself and our experience of ourself, we begin to then discover what we are here to discover. And that is who we really are. When I first got into this, my intention was to, as a surgeon, cut out the things I didn't like, discard them, and then embrace the things that I did like, and then magnify them, thinking that that would leave me whole. I was wrong, as I have been thousands of times. But this was an important wrong to discover. Because you see, all the things that I was not liking, that I was denying, that I was struggling with, that I was fighting with, that I was resisting, are really aspects of me that began to change when I began to change my relationship to them, meaning to me. So you begin to see that the retrieval of awareness really is about the retrieval of yourself, because you are awareness. You're not the body. Fortunately, you have a body. And what a wonderful body you have. I like you in your body. You're a lot easier to see. I really do. I can hear you. I can feel you. Sometimes I can taste you. I can sometimes even smell you. Depends on how close you get. My nose is not as good as my dog. She could probably smell you from the platform. I can't. So we begin to see that the 5 physical senses that we have up and running are there to help us negotiate the physical life with a capacity that then allows us to be freer in our expression of who we are. But do be hearing that you need to get to that place of retrieving yourself. And that means all of you in a way to where you are able to embrace the all of you. And it's like magic. Because the more of you that you can embrace, it's astounding. You can actually embrace others that you were having such great difficulty in embracing. And that's because you begin to see them through a very different awareness that's still you, but that is reflecting how you have become more present, more at ease with what is, and that you have surrendered your own resistance to a place of acceptability, where you're able to accept yourself, being yourself, that then when you look at another, that projection you are seeing them through allows you to accept them. See, it isn't any really big, magnanimous thing of being able to accept somebody who's such a colossal pain in the ass. It's that you have reached a place of being able to accept yourself as being that. So then if you have come to that place, you have really made a marvelous discovery about retrieving. So, I saw some of you resisting. That's okay. I resisted it too when I first came upon it. But the encouragement is to practice being at ease. Because if you will practice this with whatever shows up, in other words, whatever is, including fear, it will result in a greater retrieval of your own awareness, meaning yourself. Thank you for your attention. For more information about the Metaphysical Church of Enlightenment or the Rodin Foundation, please go to our website at www.rodin.org. If you have been inspired by the revelations shared in these podcasts, please donate to the Rodin Foundation's ongoing efforts to help others help themselves at www.rodin.org/donate.